goal today is to hopefully motivate you to help you heal your bones without medication, as I did. And I'm just so excited to share my story with you. So about a year and a half ago, I saw my GYN, and I just recently had my DEXA scan, and she was just all strung out about my results, and told me that I really needed to think about infusion because my deterioration was significant from 3 years previous. She told me you couldn't reverse bone loss without medications. And I, being a determined person that I am, when someone tells me I can't do something, I kind of like say, yes, I can. So I told her, give me a year, just give me 1 year. If my bones get worse, don't improve, let's go for it. But just give me a year. So you can't heal your bones without medication. You can heal your bones if you're willing to do the work, because like everything else, even with weight loss, you have to put the work in, you have to be motivated, and you have to want to do it, okay? And it's never too late, no matter how old you are, whether you have osteopenia in the early stages, now's the time to take action so you can stop it. If you're, have osteoporosis currently, you can build back your bone density. And in 1 year, I decreased I increased my bone density significantly. I do want to premise the fact that if your bones have gotten to the point where they're really deteriorated and your numbers are really out of control and you're at high risk for fracture, talk to your doctor first. You may want to reconsider. From my experience talking to different people, doctors tend to kind of jump the gun and want to prescribe medication even in the early stages, and really encourage you to really think about it before you dive into that medication. All right, so always check with your physician about taking any supplements. This is really important. I just didn't start taking supplements. I did consult with my primary care physician about taking supplements, especially calcium. Okay, calcium bicarbonate can cause kidney stones. If you have issues with that, you don't want to start, taking the calcium bicarbonate. I don't take that bicarbonate. I take the calcium citrate. Calcium citrate is processed differently if you're prone to kidney stones. So I take that instead, and I'll tell you where I got it from in a sec. Also, if you have any thyroid issues or heart issues, you always want to check with your doctor before you start taking any calcium supplements. Again, just double check with them before you begin. Also, you may want to consider what food you're eating. You may not need 1,200 milligrams of calcium if you're eating a lot of foods with calcium. So you want to keep a calcium diary, which I'm going to get to. So when I started taking the calcium citrates, the pills were horribly large. I could barely swallow them. So I started cutting them in half, and then they were scratching my throat. So I'm thinking there's got to be a better way. So I started looking for chewables. You also need vitamin D3 to help chauffeur the calcium into your bones, right? I know you all probably know the importance of vitamin D3. These levels should be checked periodically, your vitamin D levels, your calcium levels. Once you start taking supplements, these levels should be regulated. So I take also K2 with D3. The K2 with MQ7 is needed for the calcium and the D3 to move into the bones. All right, so these are your three main supplements. This is what I take. There's another supplement out there that I know some women take called AlgaCal. They have a lot of different minerals in them, but there's one particular mineral called strontium that I cannot take because it gives me headaches. So, but these are the three primary ones. I also take vitamin C. Not a lot of studies on the vitamin C, but I am just taking it because I did hear that it does help also absorb the calcium, or you can have a cup of orange juice in the morning to help absorb the calcium. I don't particularly like drinking straight juice, so I do the vitamin C. I also take magnesium and zinc in the evenings. The magnesium helps me sleep, also promotes healthy bones, and the collagen peptides. I take a powder form of collagen peptides, 40 milligrams. This helps with the joints. It helps with cartilage. It's great for your skin and hair and nails, but it's also shown to really help with protecting the bones through the cartilages. I did hear recently I share my story with a lot of people, and I get tips as well from people that making your own collagen from chicken parts, in particular, chicken feet have a lot of collagen. And I was just talking to Isabel about this yesterday, how her mom makes stock and uses chicken feet. You want to get that nice gelatinous broth from the bones. Using the chicken feet, you cook it up for a couple of hours, you chill it, and it forms this beautiful gelatin. You drink 1 cup a day. And maybe the person who suggested that might be on this call today. I don't know, but I'm going to start making my own collagen as soon as I finish up my my powder. The collagen I use is called Vital Proteins. I'm sure you've heard of it. Comes in a blue canister. So this is my regimen. And then I get my blood work done yearly to check my calcium levels and my D3 levels. Okay. Through my research and through my reading and all the work I've done trying to investigate natural ways to help bones, I found that eating 4 to 6 prunes a day have these polyphenol extracts that can preserve the bones and stop the osteoclasts from invading the bones. This was a study done at Pennsylvania University State Hospital. It was quite a large study they did with these prunes. So now I do eat 4 to 6 prunes an evening. I wouldn't worry about, the overactive bowels. Your body does get used to that. And it's been kind of nice to be regular eating the prunes every day. So I do eat 4 to 6 prunes a day. I do eat 4 to 6 Brazil nuts a day. They have something called selenium, which has also been shown to preserve bone density. You can take selenium as a separate supplement, but I'd rather eat the Brazil nuts because I like them. You have to be careful with selenium because you can have too much selenium. So you don't want to do more than 6 Brazil nuts a day. Also, with the selenium, if you're taking a supplement, like an all-in-one, like a 1 a day or a multivitamin, you want to check and make sure that the selenium's not in there because you don't want to have too much selenium. I think in the previous slide, I posted, did I post the selenium? I don't, no, I didn't post it, but there's a certain level of selenium not to go over certain milligrams. Soy, I eat tofu, edamame. The Asian population has a very low incidence of fractures and osteoporosis in Asian countries due to the fact they eat a lot of soy. So why not? I throw some edamame in my salads, some tofu when I can. Can't hurt, right? Dairy, of course, yogurt, cheeses, milk, we all know those are loaded with calcium, as well as vegetables, which will go on the next slide. So if I'm eating a yogurt that has 200 milligrams of calcium, I don't take 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day. I keep a calcium diary, so I know that my yogurt and the milk I put in my coffee, I know that has 300 to 400 milligrams of calcium. So I deduct that from the 1,200 I need. So even though the dosage on my calcium citrate is 1,200, I don't always take the full dose. All right. The next slide, it's interesting with beans. Not all beans are the same as far as calcium. White beans have the most calcium. Salmon, a lot of calcium plus the omega-3s, which I also take as well. Sardines, can't stand them. But if you like sardines, 350 whopping milligrams per 3.75 ounce can. That is pretty high and pretty awesome, but I just can't chew on those little fishies. I just can't do it. Bok choy per cup, 74 milligrams per cup. Love it. Throw it in soup. You can eat it raw. I saute it as a side vegetable with food. Molasses, blackstrap molasses, 100 milligrams per tablespoon. You can use it and you could stir it into your yogurt. You could stir it in, you can get a little bit creative with that as well. Instead of honey or instead of maple syrup, you can use the molasses. Kale, 53 milligrams per cup. Oranges, 52 per medium orange. Turnip greens, 80 milligrams per cup. Sesame seeds, 88 milligrams per tablespoon. So in one of the classes I teach, I asked the group to keep a calcium diary. And they're like, oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's really quite easy. Once you start keeping a calcium diary, I mean, basically you can go to myplate.com and get the counts for calcium and how much calcium in different foods. And then once you know how much calcium is in your yogurt and in the foods that you eat, you will start incorporating more of these foods into your diet to build your bones. So it might be helpful for you to keep that calcium diary just to, initially maybe, 4 days worth of calcium foods. Like when you're on Weight Watchers, we keep a diary of our food, right? So we know how many portions we're having, or how much of it, or how many points something is. Same kind of thing here. What calcium foods? Things that might surprise you. Chia seeds, right? 179 milligrams per ounce. Amaranth, which is a grain, healthy grain. There's the orange juice I was telling you about. Orange juice, you see it in the store, it'll say fortified with calcium, high amount of calcium right there. Soy milk, almond milk, tofu, Cheerios, believe it or not, fortified. Milks, kefir, which is a fermented milk. And again, yogurt can go up to about 450 milligrams of calcium per cup. This is what a calcium diary looks like, right? So for breakfast, if you had a Greek yogurt, an orange, and some chia seeds, right? Throwing that in your yogurt. For lunch, if you had a kale salad with a hard-boiled egg and sprinkle some sesame seeds, right? And then for dinner, snacks, you got your 4 prunes there, your vanilla ice cream, low fat. I make my own ice cream. That's another story. Dinner, 6 ounces of salmon, 340 milligrams, right? And butternut squash. So snacks, total 100 milligrams. Dinner totals 407 milligrams, right? You got my breakfast, 416 milligrams. Lunch, 200. You have your whole calcium intake right here, okay? So it's not hard. It's not hard. Now, I understand some of you can't have dairy, or maybe some of you are vegans, but there are a lot of vegetables, again, that have the calcium in it. This is something I just learned recently about high oxalate foods. Oxalates are found in certain foods. They bind to the calcium, and they can create more osteocytes, which destroy the bone. Spinach is something that we should really be careful about eating if we have osteoporosis. It's not going to hurt if you have it once in a while, or once every couple of weeks, but I wouldn't be eating a spinach salad every day. All right, because it has the most oxalates out of any food. You want to drink plenty of water to flush out any oxalates that might be harming your bones. And you can also request, there's a blood test out there to test your levels of oxalates to make sure that you're not producing high oxalates. They can be contained in some beans, Swiss chard, rhubarb, beets, eggplant, pumpkin, processed meats. Low oxalate foods would be bananas, cantaloupe, papaya, broccoli. Okay, now we'll get down to some of the other stuff I've been doing. So my primary care when she discovered I had osteoporosis, she's more on board with, well, let's try other things before we jump into the medications. So my primary care suggested the weighted vest. So what this is it loads the bones with weight. And this is how you build bone density, by bone loading. Okay, so I started walking with a weighted vest. I don't do housework with it. I don't exercise with it except for the walking. This is not intended to wear around the house. Okay, this is intended strictly for walking. It's really important that you get a vest that has the same weight here and the same weight in the back, because you want to make sure that you're even in both front and back. And you want to make sure that it comes with different weights so you can add weight and take weight away. So you'll want to start off, as with any exercise, a low weight. You may want to start out with a 5-pound vest. Okay, I walk an hour a day with the weighted vest. I do it usually on the treadmill. You don't want to go over 10% of your body weight. All right, so my weight is low. I'm a little person, so I don't go over 8 pounds. Okay, so you have to make sure you don't go over 10% of your body weight. So you figure that out, and then you can go up accordingly. I think the vests go up to 12 pounds, but you want to start off slow, because when I first started using the vest, it was like I was really getting an extra workout. All right, imagine, having, holding a 10-pound weight and walking on a treadmill. But the whole idea is to weigh down the bones and load the bones. So I really do like the weighted vest. And like I said, I'll give you my results at the end of the presentation. The next is the vibration platform. There are many types of vibration plates out there. This has really been shown to help with increased bone density by stimulating the bones. I stand on my vibration plate 10 minutes a day. It's all you have to do. They've done many studies on vibration plates, and it's good for balance. It's good for muscles. It's good for osteoporosis. You can look it up. This is a really excellent brand. They're kind of pricey, but our health is worth everything. All right. And bones, it's a large organ. We don't always feel the bones crumbling. We don't always know it's a problem until we fracture our hip or our leg. So you want to be proactive and kind of get ahead of it. All right. Also, these vibration platforms are really helpful with balance. And you really need good balance when you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, because you won't fall as much, right? We want to be able to balance ourselves. If we feel ourselves starting to stumble, we want to catch ourselves before we fall. Another thing I started doing, besides the weighted vest, the supplements, and the vibration plate, I really enjoy yoga. I didn't really enjoy it at first. I'm not the Zen kind of a person that can just kind of do these very methodical, beautiful positions. I kind of want to be a little bit more active, but I really love it now. And there's specific yoga poses for osteoporosis. They're very subtle, but we're using our own body weight to build our bone strength, especially in the hip area. The femoral head is very thin, and we want to really build that up, and as well as the spine. That's where the osteoporosis, spine, hip, total hip joint, that's where it tends to fracture the most, shoulders as well. So these 12 positions for yoga, you can find these on YouTube. There's different instructors that teach these poses. They're all a little bit different from one another. So you can find an instructor that you prefer, and you could do these poses right in your home, right in front of your TV on a mat. Or you could take a yoga class. I try to get 4 classes in a week. I'm fortunate. I work at the Health and Wellness Center at Valley, where I have the classes right at my fingertips. So at lunchtime, I do my classes, or I stay late after work and I do my yoga classes as well. Tai Chi is another another exercise that's really good for bone health as well.